Hey, Cody. Hey, Allie.
Hey, Amy.
Hey,
Nice to see you both.
nice to see you too. Thank you so much for having me today.
Absolutely, Allie. We are so glad to have you here, part of our Meet the Team series with all of our board of advisors, just introducing the win-win crew to everybody out there. I'm really excited to introduce you to Allie Chinsky, who happens to be in the actually beautiful city of Atlanta right now. It's quite a nice day out. Welcome. And if I can kick it over to you, just give us like a couple minute intro of who you are, highlights, whatever you want to share about yourself, your background, and yeah, take it away.
I'm really excited to be here, and I'm so excited about everything that Win-Win has to offer, and this really awesome venture that you and Cody are on your way towards. I'm Allie Chinsky, as you said. I'm the Vice President Senior Counsel at the Atlanta Hawks and State Farm Arena. I'm one of four lawyers at the team, and I've been with the Hawks. I just finished my fifth season, so it's an amazing place to work. I have the opportunity of working with basically every single department at our company, getting to touch all different parts of the business and really just help be a legal voice and a resource to the company.
So you mentioned you touch all different parts. Like what's your favorite piece of the business to get your hands into?
Yeah, I mean, that's a dangerous question because I love all my clients, obviously, but I really enjoy sort of the revenue side of the business. So, our partnerships, sponsorships, ticketing, we have some really exciting new projects on our Hawks Enterprises side with the new Centennial Yards project in downtown Atlanta that will hopefully revitalize the city and bring a lot more excitement to our downtown. So, yeah, I mean, I really love everything I do. Every day is different. I mean, I go some days from working on an influencer agreement to working on an independent contractor agreement for a plumber when something breaks at the arena. So it's really exciting and varied, which I love. We're really more than just a basketball team and more than just an arena. We actually had our town hall yesterday, which was basically a recap of our season, and a number of different folks at the organization sort of presented on the projects they were most proud of from the year. And so many of them were really community projects, going into schools, having sort of second chance programs for people that have been incarcerated. Just so many different ways that we've worked with our corporate partners, but also our community partners to really make a big impact on the city of Atlanta. And I mean, we're really fortunate to have owners that care about this. Coming up at the end of the summer is one of my favorite events, which is our Million Meal Pack, which in one day, and Amy, I don't know if you've had a chance to go or bring your
No.
kids, but if you haven't, I definitely have a plug for anyone in the Atlanta area that's interested. But in one day, we're able to pack a million meals for families that need them. And we do it in the arena. We have Hawks players, alumni, all sorts of people come into the building, and
It's
it's a
amazing.
really cool day. Yeah, it's one of my favorites.
That's awesome.
And State
Definitely shoot
Farm
me the
is
info.
our, yeah, no, for sure. So I mean, State Farm is obviously our naming rights partner, and they're a huge they have a huge involvement in that day.
That's an incredible initiative. And it sounds like it probably, I mean, if you've got at least a million meals being made, you've got a pretty significant crowd coming to help out.
Yeah, no, it's pretty cool.
I'm curious because you're talking about you do work with sponsorships and partners and corporate partners and all that. What makes a really good partnership for you? Like, what are the right ingredients when you're bringing something together with corporate, with the team, and with the community?
Yeah, I mean, I guess fortunately and unfortunately for me, I'm not the creative one. So by the time it gets to my desk, the partnership is pretty much baked. And we have a phenomenal corporate partnership department. Really, really creative thinkers. They work with our marketing group hand in hand to just come up with these phenomenal programs that they pitch to partners. And it's rare in this day and age when something gets to my desk that doesn't have a community component. The majority of our partners want something like that in their proposal. Each of them is unique and different. Yeah, the fact that our partners, I think, see the value that we can bring on the community side also is cool for me to see because again, we view ourselves as more than just a team. We're really trying to be a community asset.
Yeah, the work I think earlier this year also that you were doing with bringing influencers in and just kind of giving them the ability to show what it's like to be at a game and be in that Hawks community through their own eyes. That was some really cool work that I enjoyed following also.
Yeah, our creators collective, it was sort of, we weren't really sure how it was going to turn out. And huge kudos again. I mean, our head of marketing, Melissa Proctor, is just brilliant. And the things that the group come up with are we were the first NBA team to have sort of this creator collective concept. And through the year, we onboarded 25 different creators to post all different content and videos to just drive traffic to games and engagement with our social media sites. But then also we had sort of a pinnacle event at the end of the season where we had over 1,000 content creators come to the arena on a dark day. So there wasn't a game or a concert, but we just put on this event for them to all be in the building and get together and collaborate about sort of where the space is headed.
As content types shift and who's the actual creator, how does that impact your work?
Yeah, I mean, for at least early on, like we review all of the content before it's posted so that we can make sure that there are no issues. We have sort of an AI committee that's constantly looking at new technology and figuring out what makes sense for the business, as do a number of other organizations right now. It's just sort of the topic of the week, the flavor of the week. I'll say. But yeah, I mean, really, I think at the end of the day, the most important part of my job is just being available and ready to answer questions about things that might come up, whether it's influencers or AI or whatever it might be, just sort of having the background knowledge and being able to research and work with law firms and just be able to advise on what's coming.
How do you find that balance, Allie, between protecting IP and protecting the sponsors and protecting your partners with this, like letting it go to influencers where they're telling stories and they have their platforms? How do you find that balance?
Yeah, I mean, that's a big reason why we are reviewing everything and having approval rights over all of the content before it's posted, at least right now, because I think everybody's still trying to figure out how this works and how it looks. And
Yeah.
it's sort of different than somebody who's having an influencer deal to maybe push a product or push a new makeup line or something like that. Like as you said, our IP is everything and our brand is everything. And so it's a little bit different. And we're very cautious about who we give our marks to and the right to use our marks. So it's a great question. And I think we're still navigating it.
I mean, Amy and I have this conversation at least once a day, like that balance between our brand and our IP and the need to kind of let it go so that you can build audience because we're in this unique space where we're building audience now, and a lot of the content that we're able to leverage is actually the stories coming out of teams and leagues and players and being able to repurpose their work. But it's so interesting to hear from your perspective that like really hanging on to IP is so important, and totally understand that. And that's like we're trying to find that balance too. Like I don't know what the answer is.
Yeah. Well, I mean, and at least for you, like being in the media space, you sort of get a little bit different rules than other people in terms of using other people's marks and covering stories and all of that stuff. But yeah, I mean, it's sort of a minefield. I mean, we have it on our side too. Like we have to be really careful and cognizant about our partners' brands. Figuring out and following the brand guidelines of dozens and hundreds of different partners is also a unique position, I think, to be in.
So I want to go to a quick question about you before we have to let you go back to your work, your wonderful world of lawyer work. What brought you to the Hawks? Because I know you said you were there for about 5 years, and it sounds like your background wasn't always in sports. Kind of how did you end up at the arena? What was your journey?
Yeah. So you're right. My background was not always in sports, although I always wanted my background to be in sports. So growing up, my dad was one of the team doctors for all of the teams in Atlanta. So back then we had the Thrashers, we had have the Braves, obviously, the Falcons. And so I sort of grew up since I was 8 or 9 years old, going to games with my dad and just being in the background with him and watching what he was doing. And I sort of always thought, like, I just know I'm not going to be a doctor. So how else can I sort of fit in myself to the sports world? And I was very fortunate to have a number of different internships along the way. I actually interned for the Hawks 3 different times before joining full time as a team member over the years. Once I was in the marketing department, I interned for legal a couple times. And so I was sort of just trying to figure out like where I would fit and where I saw my path. And I always also thought about law school. So decided to go to law school after graduation. I was at a large law firm in Chicago for about 6 years. And then thankfully, I had had the connection from the Hawks. And so when my predecessor was leaving, my boss, Scott Wilkinson, who's our general counsel and who's an incredible person to learn from, he called me and he said, "Hey, you want to move back to Atlanta?" And it was a no-brainer. I mean, I think I answered within like half a second. So that's how I got to the Hawks. And it's really an awesome place to be. And I am so fortunate with the people that I get to work with and the things I get to do.
Kind of came full circle. It was part of your life growing up and now you're back there. That's pretty awesome.
Yeah, I mean it's sort of unbelievable. I sometimes just have to stop myself when I'm walking around the bowl, like when I'm at a game and I look up and I'm like, I remember when I was a kid and I was here and now like this is my job. So not a lot of people I know get to say that. And I really know how lucky I am. And I don't take that for granted.
So, Allie, you have this litany of experience in sports. Is there a moment that stands out for you? A favorite sports moment, whether it was, childhood now with the Hawks, like you went to school at Michigan, lots of great sports things happening there. What's your favorite?
It's so hard to choose one. I'll give you a couple. So, as a participant in my last year of law school, and Cody, you'll appreciate this, and actually Amy, you too, but I had the opportunity to run the Boston Marathon, which I think is really just a once in a lifetime experience. It's like no other race. So that's pretty high on my list. And then the other is the most recent, got to go to the Rose Bowl when Michigan won with my whole family. So we brought our kids and
Oh, it's
my
awesome.
husband also went to Michigan. It was a painful game as a Michigan fan, like sitting through it, but then by the end, like being able to be in the building. And that stadium is really like no other. It's a pretty amazing place to be.
Yeah, that's so fun. What was more painful, watching the game or running the marathon?
Physically painful marathon, but mentally painful, definitely the game. I mean,
Uh,
Well, Allie, we've taken up so much of your time, and we appreciate it. We appreciate the insights. Most importantly, we appreciate the time you've dedicated to helping us get this thing off the ground. So thank you so much, Allie, for being a part of this. We're so happy to have you along for the ride. And it's going to be some great stuff in the coming months as we continue to build this thing out.
thank you so much for allowing me to be a part of it and for the work that you guys are doing. I mean, there are some really incredible stories out there that need a venue and need a voice. So I appreciate that you guys are sticking your necks out and trying to find a way to tell those stories.
Thanks. We appreciate it. And yeah, thank you for being here for this. This was great.
Thanks, guys.
All right. We will talk to you soon. Enjoy the weekend.
Thanks. You too.